All right. So this is the Limitless Learning podcast where we explore emerging trends and what's exciting in online learning. And today we have DeMario McIlwain, and we're going to explore his really exciting and powerful company, SkillDora, that's offering such a unique and new and exciting way of educating people on, yeah, and empowering
Absolutely.
their future. Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, would you like to tell us just a little bit about how you got started in creating this company and what inspired you?
Well, that's great. And I will make sure I give you the very short rendition of how SkillDora actually came to be, because it's actually a funny story. But just like you said, I'm DeMario McIlwain, CEO and co-founder of SkillDora. We're known as the first in the US to introduce AI avatar instructor-led courses to the e-learning market, as well as the first to become globally accredited with AI avatar courses. We specialize in courses. We try to do future forward courses and things of that nature that helps the workforce development population as well as entrepreneurs, succeed in this technology transition. Kind of addressing your question when you say how did SkillDoor get started? I always say that I have to give the short version because what you see SkillDoor as today is that wasn't the plan. Well, my wife she's a global trainer, and we used to spend a lot of time going around, training in corporations and things of that nature, team building for corporations, a lot of movement. And I had this wild idea to say, what if we stopped a lot of this traveling back and forth? What if we
Mm.
built this online platform to where people can come to the training instead of us going to
Yeah.
train? So this was a beautiful idea. I actually self-taught. I actually learned how to build an online community, such as a LinkedIn or Facebook, and then infused the LMS system, which you see on Coursera or whatever the case may be. And my wife tasked, the reason I brought her up in this, it was that she knew all these subject matter experts and all of these things that we was going to train in.
Yeah.
Because at the time we was only training in agile principles, if you're familiar with agile. So we
Hmm.
really was, deep diving into agile. So, but if I'm going to build this platform, I wanted to kind of cover the things that we don't necessarily talk about, but an array of things. So she started this program, started a boot camp with all these subject matter experts, and they was going to build out their curriculums and training materials. I was going to take that with their videos, put it inside of this LMS, and voila, we have a training platform. What happened though, Dominic, was once we went through this, I was telling you off camera how I got all this camera equipment. This was for this purpose. Green screen room, everything. What happened was a lot of them didn't like the way they looked on camera. They didn't like the way they sounded on camera. There was a lot of retakes, redos. It was taking
Mm.
forever.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I seen the idea that it actually took me probably about 6 months to a year to develop this platform thing. I seen that crushing.
Right.
It was like
Yeah.
going nowhere
Yeah.
because I didn't have content to put on it. I'm a rogue developer, as I like to call myself. I done built this fascinating thing. I'm like, oh, this is outstanding. It's almost like you built the house and you just need the furniture guys to come in and place the furniture where it needs to be, and it's going to be beautiful. Long story short, off of that, we ran into a company by the name of DID. DID is a company based out of Israel. If anybody's familiar with them, they're especially out there now if you go look them up. But DID at the time had this facial recognition technology that they was
Mm.
using with it's almost like ancestry.com, but it was another company that they had did this thing where you can upload a picture from your past loved ones and type some words and the picture comes to life. I looked
Cool.
at that and said,
Yeah.
can
Ooh,
we
we can do
utilize
something.
this? It's the same concept. I know it's character based, but can I
Hmm.
license this software?
Yeah.
Long story short, we was granted a license to the software. Therefore, now my problem is saved. I can actually, and I tell you this little part, we started off cloning the
Ah.
instructors. But man, that freaked them out so much. You got to think this was before Chat GTP. Nobody was talking about AI and stuff doing. They were still on the Bitcoins and cryptocurrency conversations.
How
So
long
next thing
ago
you
was
know,
this?
this was around in 2020, coming into 20.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. On
Yes.
to get started
Yeah.
on.
So we did all of this stuff, man, and we started cloning people. Then that kind of freaked people out. So I started utilizing the platform in a different way to where we could actually create. They used to have a website they call I forgot the total name. Like these people are not real. You know, it was like a
Right. So
site
the
that you could
text.
create.
Yeah.
You could create a person. And I started playing with those tools. Long story short, we ended up with a couple of models that we could actually use with this technology to introduce courses. And at the time, DID had a selection of a few ones that looked good. You know, it was, at the end of the day, it was like the shoulder up avatars with just smooth, a little bit robotic, like Max Headroom, if you, for the audience that's older. um,
Right.
but anyway, it solved the problem. So we created all of these courses using these avatars. You got to think, Dominic, the only thing I was wanting to do was get these courses out. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I loved
Yeah.
how we utilized the technology, and we paid a good penny for it because this was before these things was normal. Now this is kind of, so we did it, we launched it, and then next thing you know, the flurry of news came out. Next thing you know, we're on talk shows, we're in press releases, we're in people's write-ups, the news coming out to visit us because we was the first in the US to do this. And that is so, it's so crazy to me simply because I'm not that guy. I didn't plan to do this. It just happened to end up that way, and therefore SkillDora was born.
That's powerful. Yeah, well, you solved the unique problem. You noticed that it was taking so much time and energy to create these things from scratch. And you said, well, what's really important here? We can do this part, automate it, still have the lessons come across, things like
Hmm.
that. Um, so that's a really powerful and insightful way of solving that problem. What
Yes.
else do you think? That's one thing that makes SkillDora unique. What else do you think allows SkillDora to be a unique and powerful platform?
That's a great question. You know, we're now in our third year. I toy with that question every day. Some of the main things that SkillDora, what I wanted SkillDora to be, if you look up the name in Greek mythology, Dora means gift, offering you a skill as a gift. That's where I looked at it. I'm a curious type of person. I was a person, I was telling you off camera, you know, I just did music most of my life. I went into the military for about 10 years, came out, still had a love for music, but a lot of stuff was going on. So I'm not a college baby. You know, I didn't go through college, but there was things I wanted to learn.
Mm.
So when I started learning these things myself, I said, this is kind of cool. What if
Yeah.
you can learn it too? I need to put it in a form that you will be interested to take it, as well as create what we started, what was called as micro credentialing. Micro
Hmm.
credentialing is, I'm giving you this course product in bite-sized pieces. I'm not overwhelming you, because I read all the stats of people drop out of online courses, and you see some course and they'll be like, oh, you know, 15 hours, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, man, no, everything I have signed up with online to take a course in, if it was over, I'll say over 8 hours of doing something, man, I get so, you know, discouraged, especially
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
So we started doing these micro credentialing courses based on subject matter that aligns with open job roles. So then looking future forward, we started talking about AI and AI prompting machine learning before the
Hmm.
chat GTP phase. So we spent probably a lot of our time educating people on why you might want to take it versus them
Exactly.
taking it. But, you know, my whole thing has always been, how can I compact this information into bite-sized nuggets to give you the meat and potatoes to where you can go through it? And especially at the time, if you was to go into an interview, I always used to say, take a SkillDora course, you'll pass your interview.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
granted, you still got to do some deep dive in some other places. We don't go into the deep dive. We go into the opening your mindset up. You know, using as an example, like with AI Essentials, it's more relevant now than it was than when we first created the first variation of the course.
Yeah.
Being because everybody's talking about AI, jobs are talking about AI, and I have a theory, my own theory, that the mass population, they hear AI, but they don't really put it into context on what that actually means. So we have AI essentials that lets you know that, hey, You've been using AI for quite some time now. Siri, Google Maps,
Right,
different
right, right.
applications, Netflix,
Yeah.
actually using it. So don't get so scared when they say, "Oh, this AI is not a big robot coming in to snatch you up out of your house." It is tools that you have been actually utilizing. You just need to understand what's the proper name of these tools. So
Hmm.
when your job or something comes to you and say, "Oh, we're going to be doing blah blah blah," and you feeling like, "Okay, I'm going to get fired," take a SkillDora course. Then you feel
Yeah.
like that's a great idea. I understand
Amazing.
large language models. I understand machine learning and robotics. I can be
Yeah,
an asset to this
totally.
company's transition. So that's our goal. We want to help you stay in whatever role or profession that you are doing, but don't get overwhelmed or even knocked out the
Hmm.
box with whatever that subject matter may be.
Amazing. Yeah, well, I think what's so cool is you've created something that can both benefit, say, a business that wants to train their employees. Really, I saw what you did with Wells Fargo. That's really cool. And then
Yes.
also is tailored for, say, an entrepreneur or a student or someone who wants to educate themselves. Like you said, that just gives so much value to a person who wants to stay on top of the trends in this changing world. And I see you're one of the, if not one of the first, if not the first, to be accredited for continuing professional development, right? Isn't that true?
Yes, yeah. Another thing that wasn't sought out, but when the news came, I'm always like this. So when the news come and someone mentioned it to me, I say, well, let's prove this theory wrong. Let's go
Yeah.
out and research. And come to find out, even the accrediting body, which is um, CPD standards office out of London, they accredited us and they could not find anything that matched our criteria. So
Right.
therefore, that became news. You're the first
Yeah.
globally to have an accredited platform that's taught by AI avatars, and which is crazy because even in year three, we have, lack of a better word, we have pigeonholed ourselves so much to where all of our courses going to be taught by AI in some form or fashion. Is never a situation where now a subject matter expert can come to me and say, "Well, I have a lot of knowledge, and here's my videos."
Right.
I'd be like, "I can't use them because
Yeah.
everything on SkillDora has to be with AI." Now, do you want me to clone you and then repurpose, or I can't use your
Yeah.
videos if it's a real human talking?
Right.
But
Right. Right.
the accreditation actually helped us out a whole lot. You mentioned some news out there with Wells Fargo. We also have we're behind the scenes on a lot of organizations, including some colleges. We can actually lift and shift our whole library in the LMS to be connected with the college or university's platform. That way, they can offer extended credits for students going through to
Hmm.
learn these things.
Yeah.
So we've found various ways to actually utilize SkillDora to educate the mass populations on a lot of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it seems like you can do that quicker than than most other ways where you would generate a course. You can just, you have the information, pop it right at it. And that's really impressive too.
Yes, I'll share this with you, Dominic. And I was on another talk not too long ago, and I shared a story of one of our first biggest clients. I'm talking about. I ain't gonna put them on Front Street with their name. They know who they are, but they paid us pretty handsomely to create some internal trainings for their organization. What was funny about it was when we got proposed with the situation, they just gave us one liners on what the training should be.
Mm,
Because the L&D team didn't, the problem was the L&D team, the learning and development department, did not have even context over the training. It just came down from the top on
I
what they
see.
needed training on. We took basically 4 sentences and turned those into four 3 to 4 hour courses
Wow. Yeah.
in a matter of, the whole project took us, as far as the course side, about 90 days.
Wow.
We would have we would have been able to do it faster. So since we didn't have any context on what was building, we had a lot of back and forth going on. Like,
Yeah.
hey, read this. Does this align? Okay, cool. Put that in. But on average, we can develop now because we have a plethora of AI tools and subject matter connections and things of that nature. But we can have a course up, man, 15 days
Yeah. That's
from
incredible.
beginning to winning. We just did one the other day for a client. It was based on their book and stuff like that. We just did one and it took us roughly 20 hours.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So
So,
cool.
long story short, we get hired for that a lot. And once again, this was not a business part that this is nowhere in the business plan. This is nowhere in the forecast that we was going to become a service provider for such things. But people seeing SkillDora and it's like, hey, that's kind of unique. I like what you offer, but we have our own stuff. Can you take this and turn it into that? Sure.
Yeah.
Long
So
as you're
powerful.
comfortable with, this is our standard. We always shoot them a couple of links to our outcomes. Like as long as you find with this is how the flow is, because we're not going to change our internal process
Right.
to
You
service
know.
your thing. But if
Yeah.
you're cool with that and you love that, man, let's do business.
Cool. Yeah, so it's really cool how you have this very efficient way of building courses. And it seems also like the AI instructors are getting they're doing the job very well, right? To teach the subject and the material.
Yes.
And I'm curious what you think, how you see AI instructors changing the role of human teachers. Do you see that complementing the education that's led by humans? Do you see it replacing a bigger part of it? What do you think of all that?
That's such a great question because, we have had to debunk the
Right,
theory of replacing for a
right.
minute. If we just stop
Yeah,
right there, that word replacing. My forward looking scenario was like when we was out there launching, they had a teacher shortage going on. The pandemic had changed a lot of things. So my thought process said, now let's say you got a room full of 20 students and each student learning at a different pace. If you have all of your training, the core essence of the training on a digital device, AI avatars teaching us core stuff. And then the student raised their hand, and you, as the teacher, get to go talk to that student because this student might be on lesson 4, this student might be on lesson 10, but you can circle the room and answer direct information based on that
yeah,
training without teaching the training and stopping and starting or whatever the case may be. And some students feeling lost, some students excelling. Now just put it here. This is your assistant. Your
yeah,
assistant is going to give them the core stuff, and you're going to be there to support question answering, engagement, and things of that nature. That's how I seen it, and I believe there are places that's kind of operating that way. As like I say, AI avatars. That was our claim to fame when we jumped out there, but today, I just Google
yeah,
avatar agents in training. Everybody's promoting, hey, utilize this for training. I like to
yeah.
think that they seen all of our news and started using those keywords and say, hey, we didn't think about it like that. But that they might have had it in the hopper already, so I'm not gonna take credit for it. But at the same
So,
time, if they're utilizing it like this, it's faster, man. I got a camera that I spent about $1,500 for. Just one camera and then the other stuff on the side just to record training. I don't have to set nothing up now.
yeah,
It's like
just
in this right
letting
our latest courses that we're coming out with in the fourth quarter, the avatars look so real.
it's getting better. It's crazy.
I cloned myself and I guarantee you I could put one right here on the video and put it right here beside you and people will still think that you was talking to me. They look so real and they really combat with audio issues, visual issues, and things of that nature. Now you still have to program everything that is teaching on. You still have to do that. You have to do a lot of things what is called conversation design. You have to do a lot of things to make it get to the level
Right,
of
the
where
level.
it's still
Yeah,
because it's talking to a human, so you don't want it to sound robotic. That can be off-putting to some people. So we use a lot of tools to get voicing. Use a lot of tools to create imagery. How it moves. We don't just go with the standard stuff. A lot of stuff now, people say, "Well, I can just get a subscription to this." Yeah, you can, but it's going to be very robotic because it's in-house system. We have
Yeah.
developed a system with some custom stuff along the way to make sure that when you get a SkillDora course, it's almost like I'm wearing this shirt right here. Across the board, a lot of people like to call these polos.
Right.
Got on a polo shirt. No, this is not a polo. Polo is a brand. This is just a three-button collared shirt.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
polo had become so synonymous with the three-button collared shirts that everybody say, "Oh, give me a polo shirt." That's how we're trying to do SkillDora.
Right.
I
Just
want a
have it be that.
SkillDora course
Mhm. Amazing.
because if you got 30 minutes before a job interview or whatever the case may be, you could literally be in your car on the phone and take a quick SkillDora course, go in there, rock that job interview. Now you need to learn. I keep telling people it gets you in the door. It doesn't mean it's going to retain you. So you need to really learn the
Sure.
stuff that you're getting
Yeah.
off of SkillDora.
So something I noticed that you said that I found is really powerful is there's people at all different skill levels, right? Like if you're teaching a course to a classroom of people. And I wonder what you think about the future of customization and personalization in the learning process, you know? I'd
Oh,
love to hear you talk about that a little bit.
love it. There are some things that we're working on. I can't even put it out on Front Street yet
Yeah,
because
yeah.
got to make sure it works. In our world, because we are creative a lot in what we do. I'm a rogue developer, and what that means to all them tech guys out there and guys and girls, I don't know any rules,
Right.
so I throw stuff together to see does it
See if
work.
it works. Yeah.
If it works, we start improving on it. If it don't, throw it in trash. So therefore, they have a scenario, interactive agents that's out there right now. I got a couple in the hopper. I'm doing one with myself that you can actually speak to, like you and I are talking. It talks about the series of things and then it disseminates the information that you want to learn in the way that you want to learn.
Incredible.
That's where I'm trying to take us next, to where when you log on, it's almost like you just get a person in your pocket
Wait.
sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of you sitting there going through every module, "Oh, I know this, I don't know that. Oh, let me take that notes. What did they say? Hello, Dominic,
Right.
how you doing?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about AI essentials when it comes to understanding the machine learning parts of it?" And then you
Exactly.
just start speaking.
Incredibly personalized. And
Yes,
it's, you know, it has a memory and capacity that a regular human teacher might not be able to
yes.
duplicate past their bandwidth. So that's
And
cool.
it's going to remember all of your conversations. It's geared towards you. So when you go back to it, it's picking up where you left off, or what you may have spoke about before.
So cool. So exciting.
That's where I want to go. And if anybody out there and say, "Oh, DeMario, I'm going to cap you, I'm going to top you," go ahead. I want it. Our motto right now is AI for everyone. If you got it, hey,
Yeah.
hit me up. Let's talk. You might save us some development dollars.
Right, right,
Let's see
right.
how we can
Exactly.
excite the e-learning market. But I will say, what's the surprising thing to me? I'm surprised that your Coursera, Skillshares, masterclasses, and things of that nature, all of these what they call MOOC sites, they are now not currently, the last time I checked, allowing any AI avatar based courses on their
Mm,
platform.
yeah. So you guys are really sticking out
I'm
then.
curious
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, because with Amazon, Amazon now allows you to utilize AI to help you edit and push your books out
Yeah.
on Kindle and things of that nature. They even have some automation that going on through AI. Some schools are allowing students to actually they understand that they're using the chat GTPs and things of this nature.
Right.
There's
They're running
I
with
need
it.
you
Yeah.
yeah, I need for you to have an understanding, not just taking it verbatim and throwing it out there. I need you to cool. You can utilize that
Exactly.
too. Oh, you want to listen to my lecture and then transcribe it and have it speak back to you. We're all right there. So why aren't these other the major players in the e-learning market are not adapting that? it can't be a quality control thing because, if you're looking at Coursera, you'll notice that some courses are good and some are
Right,
like, oh,
right, right.
what is that? So I'm
Yeah,
curious
it
on why
varies.
they're not doing that yet. And it helps me if they're not,
Yes, of course. Yeah.
selfishly, but at the same time, the mass amount of education that you can receive out there, you're going to have to keep up with that because nowadays, I think personally, and how I have learned over the years, I think personally, YouTube is like the best university that any person can go through.
Yeah, yeah,
Whatever I
totally.
want to know, man,
Exactly.
I need to change this fan belt on my car. I don't want to take it to the shop. I want to do it myself. YouTube video. Put your phone up, follow the
Right.
instruction. I need to got a plumbing issue. YouTube. Or I
Yeah.
want to deep dive and understand Web3 and quantum computing.
Yeah. We're just taking it farther, the ability for people to self-educate and create, become the person they want to be or solve the problems they want to just with their own agency. So I'm curious, like as SkillDora is growing and developing, what are some of the things that you think are working really well right now?
That's a great question. And the reason I respond like that is because, believe it or not, we are in the midst of a resurgence.
Yeah,
It's kind of an exciting time simply because I told you when we first launched, the things that we were talking about wasn't common yet. So, we spent a lot of time talking about what we're training,
exactly.
the pre-step, and then Chat GTP launched. People started getting comfortable. Then the White House came out with these executive orders recently.
Yeah,
Next thing you know, the telephone's ringing. Hey, you remember that course that you was telling me about 2 years
right.
ago? Y'all still offer that course? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, we got a different variation, but yeah, we want to take that course. You do. Like, okay. So the things that have been shocking in the SkillDora world is things that we talked about in 22, 23. Here in 25, it's like the aha bell just rung to a lot of people that we used to go out and try to have do business with.
yeah,
And that's becoming exciting. But what's the
that's
crazy
awesome.
part is that I'm still for the people.
Yeah,
I have my own theories. I call it the book of DeMario. I have my own theories
I
that I
love
try
it.
to put together to understand where we are moving as a country when it comes to technology, leaving the
Hmm.
industrial stage into the technology era. Where are we going? And I
Yeah,
try to emulate our behaviors. For
yeah,
instance, if you're hungry right now, you can click a button and have whatever you like to eat that's in your area at your doorstep. You can click a button, have your
yeah,
groceries delivered. You can go to your TV and watch any show that you want to at any given time. It doesn't start at 7, it starts when I press play.
yeah,
You can do all of these different things. They have applications now. You can have a website up in 30 seconds. We have all
exactly.
these applications. So why this might not be a popular statement, but why are people losing jobs?
Right. Exactly. What's the way to bridge that gap there?
Yes, it's information. We need to have
Exactly.
methods to where I can get the latest information as fast as possible. Because, when I think about it, it's not when we're talking about SkillDora, the deeper side of it is it's not about course, it's not about the training. I just try to continuously have subject matter up that in my mind that I can help you maintain something or start something new because the trickle down effect, that's something for your family, that's your kids. It's a
Exactly.
whole lot comes behind you gaining a certain level of information that you didn't know about before.
Exactly.
I'm a product of that. I could tell a personal story
Right.
or two.
Right.
I'm a product of that. But it's like that's how I look at it. So, the future of everything that we're talking about is continuously making it accessible, not necessarily the subject, accessible to the
Right.
person in the behavior that they are already doing today.
Yeah. You're all about empowering the everyday person who's ambitious, who's curious to stay on top of this wave, to access that information, to have it there. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're living proof of being one of those ambitious people that Yeah.
We was talking earlier, and we have a love for music, musicianship. I like to say sometimes that's a dying market because now they have. I seen a thing, man. What is that? I actually wrote it down on my notepad here. It's called co-pilot or co-producer.
Co-producer. Yeah. Yeah.
You heard of it already?
Crazy.
Co-producer. You almost can hum a rhythm, and it gives you Beethoven's chords behind it.
Just
It's
build
like
it out.
so. Guess what? Who they don't need now? They don't need DeMario coming in there playing nothing, charging an hourly rate. I can do this. Boom, is there. It gives me 20 different variations
Yeah.
of that. I can slide it into my recording software and voila, I got a song in 30 seconds. Well, musicianship just changed. So now
Yeah.
you as a musician, you need to understand all of these tools out there and start utilizing them yourself to create little packs that you can sell or
Exactly.
give, however, to stay
Yeah.
relevant. Because nobody's wanting your musicianship too much now. That's not cool no more. You got 15-year-olds making big, beautiful songs and records and putting them out on YouTube. They don't need you like they used to.
Yeah, it's true. And so it is a challenge always staying, staying ahead of the wave, staying on top of things like you said. And so I'm curious, as you guys notice yourself growing, what's been a challenge for you guys to scale or grow this model or even just develop it as you see it transforming in the future?
What has always been a challenge for us in the e-learning space,
Yeah,
you have some big players already.
right.
They're
Yeah,
doing, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars per year with their information. But the problem, my personal thoughts, the problem of it is not all information is good information. That's just so the challenge has been that we're trying to develop a process to where we're giving you information that is relevant, niche relevant to what you are going through today. So, in other words, if I go on any platform and I start seeing a lot of job roles, or if I'm reading tech news and I'm seeing the next wave of something coming through, um, I want some training on that. And because I want the training on it, guess who else going to get the training? Anybody else that comes to SkillDora. So we actually have we have a 3-part series on electric vehicles in the hopper.
mm,
We have quantum computing already been researched. We hired a team to give us all of the data points and things behind quantum computing. And therefore, we created a course on that. But the only reason you don't see it on the SkillDora site is because nobody else is talking about quantum computing at the level that we need them to talk about it. I learned a lot when we dropped the AI stuff.
yeah,
I don't want to go through that again. 60 Minutes did one episode so far on quantum computing.
yeah,
I need for 60 Minutes and a whole bunch of other people to start talking about quantum computing, then we'll drop the courses. EVs on the electric vehicles under the Biden administration, it was getting hot because they had some programs or something behind. So we dropped all of our EV courses. I think they're kind of shifting a little bit right now. So because our course is geared from the aspect of you owning an EV electric vehicle, as well as understanding if you go work at the plant that produce electric vehicles, understanding the batteries and the different
yeah,
mechanical parts and stuff like that. So we have all of this stuff in the hopper already. I just don't have it up because I know no traffic won't go to it hardcore yet. And we don't
yeah,
have the budget to just continuously spending to advertise and pushing a narrative that people ain't convinced on just yet. You understand?
exactly.
So our challenge has always been getting in front of people who have an interest in the things that we're offering because we don't have our inventory of courses is never going to exceed 20 at the most.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a
We,
small, specialized group of courses. And yeah, keeping it lean, one, staying on top of the most relevant information, and two, getting it in front of the people who most need it, right?
Yes, sir. And with the accreditation, people they earn CPD credits for taking our course. They earn CLEs,
Yeah.
PDUs, project managers. Even from a military standpoint, you get accreditations for going through our courses because once you get that certificate at the end, you can go claim those hours or those points or however based on you took this learning, which is a little different from like the Coursera's. And I keep bringing them up, but I study them a lot. The Coursera's and the master classes and things of that nature, they give you a lot of training that's great. But at the same time, if you're trying to, if you're a certified, you're a certified project manager, you have to do so many requirements per year to maintain that status of being a project manager, which is
Yeah.
take some courses, attend some meetups, whatever the case may be. We fit right in that bubble to where you could take a SkillDora course to meet your criteria.
Yeah. Incredible. So I know we're getting, a little bit towards the end of the conversation. So I wanted to ask, in the next 12 months or so for SkillDora, like let's say you had a magic wand and you could just solve one problem for yourselves that you would, at the end of that, you would say, we just made a major breakthrough for this company. What do you think what would,
That's a good one. And I have so many slants to that story, but I'll go with the first one that comes to mind. Once again, it's the notoriety of what we do have, what we're trying to provide for the different target markets that we serve. That is it. Because I'll say that we're not, I know as a business, a lot of businesses are focused on profit margins and things of that nature. That's just not my thing. I'm a diehard entrepreneur. I never worked in corporate. So all of my learnings that I have gotten out through life is from something I experienced, something I read, something I went through, and it enabled me to do more things in life. Even
yeah,
add on to continuously being an entrepreneur and live just fine under that umbrella without facing a lot of the headaches and stuff that people go through. So for us, I just really want more eyeballs.
yeah,
At the end of the day, and I know that's kind of across the board with everyone. Everybody say, "Oh yes, DeMario." Every company want that, but in a different way. I want you to know that there's a different type of learning that's out here that you can take that won't overwhelm you, and
mhm,
remind you that SkillDora is not just a e-learning platform; it's an online community as well. So you
right,
can come in as a group and have group conversations inside of a group about the course you are taking or whatever the case may be. It's a lot of different toys that we added to that. But that is kind of where we're at. And that's simply because in our world, you already know you're very familiar with the big players in the e-learning space.
yeah,
It's hard to compete
sure,
against a company that's doing $102 million a year
hmm,
and they can spend, 50,000, $100,000 a month on ad campaigns. It's kind of hard, you know.
absolutely, yeah,
And we don't necessarily because we learn it. I'll say this, I won't hold you too long, but we recently created a character. And then if you go to the website, you'll see it. You go on my LinkedIn, you'll see some little snippets of you can understand what we're doing here. We created Grandma Dora. Grandma Dora.
I saw Grandma Dora.
Grandma Dora, you see Dora, Grandma Dora. For anybody that was slow, didn't catch that. SkillDora, Grandma Dora. Grandma Dora is now our mascot. Just like you see Flo from Progressive and Jake from State Farm and what's the other guy, Mayhem and all of those different things that you see in these crazy
Yeah,
commercials that draw your attention. I was thinking from my creative side, like, what can I do to excite people? And the slogan of Grandma Dora is I tried to tell you. That's a
right.
personal statement because in 22 and 23, I was trying to tell you that this stuff was going to happen. It was going to
Yeah.
happen. And now these executive orders are jumping out. Their job losses are coming. I was just one of the voices trying to tell you to get
Hmm.
prepared for this new age. But Grandma Dora is the epitome of what SkillDora experienced in the first rounds of our lives. In other words, Grandma Dora is seemingly about 80 years old. She's AI certified and she's talking about AI, which is the cross of when we first came out, especially the older generation was looking at us like, uh, what is, oh, no, no, we don't want that. What's that? Oh, no, no, no. So she is like the opposite of she's the older person that's like, yo, you need to get on this AI. Grandma Dora, I tried to tell you. So we started this new creative marketing campaign to use
Yeah.
Grandma Dora as an eye-catching thing to lead you into the actual serious side of the training that you can receive.
Yeah.
So,
Powerful. Yeah. And just to mirror back what you said, it sounds like one of your big missions is to really, without, in an efficient and effective way, speak to the people who this is most for, like get really to those people who are looking for that community, who are looking for self-education, who are looking to get ahead of the curve and do it in a smart way that like honors where you guys are at. Yeah.
I like how you said it. So you need
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on over here with SkillDora, man. You said that very eloquently. I love it. It's like I'm the,
Beautiful.
as you could probably tell, I'm the wild and crazy guy. I tell anybody on anything, I'm the guy that's gonna go off script. I'm wild and crazy. It's how my brain operates. This is why we create stuff that's not there yet.
Exactly. That's how the best breakthroughs are made. Yeah.
But
Great.
I love how you summed that up. That is exactly our goal. The reason I'm on here today, anyone that knows me personally or been around me, they know my goal has always to be Charlie from Charlie's
Yeah.
Angels. Charlie, you never seen Charlie in any Charlie's Angels episode, old or new. You never seen Charlie. I aspired to be Charlie, the guy
Yeah.
behind the scenes doing all of this stuff. But
Yeah.
now I'm coming more in the forefront. Um, and saying like, listen here, y'all, this is kind of getting serious. Let's look at the stats. They just accounted I think just over 10,000 job loss was accounted to artificial intelligence in the last
Mm.
couple of months. Now it's 30 to 40,000 jobs that's going out. You're not necessarily see, you're gonna have to Google this. See how many jobs are being lost because of the companies going lean.
Yeah.
And get it.
Absolutely.
I can't argue with the companies going lean. Their
Mm.
whole scenario is to save revenue and produce more. If they can implement an AI tool and it can do the work of 25 people in a split second, 25 people gonna have to go.
Yeah.
But before you become one of those 25,
Exactly.
I want to give you a fighting chance. Hold up. Did you know I'm
Look
certified
what I got.
in
Yeah.
this right here? I can help with this transition. Now,
Yeah.
guess what? They might only get rid of 24. I mean, you still sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Great.
exactly what I'm trying to do here.
Incredible. Well, you've offered so many incredible insights and just like showing us this world and how you see it. And I really love where your head is at and the mission you guys are on. It's been beautiful to have you
Thank you.
share. Is there any like closing statement you have just to kind of sum up where you see the future
Well,
going?
in the words of Grandma Dora, I tried to tell you, come on over to SkillDora, see what we have to offer. If it's something that even if it's something that we're missing that you would like to see, hit us
Yeah.
up on
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
We would love
Amazing.
to create stuff that we know people do have an interest in.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, for anyone who's listening or watching, definitely if there's if there's something you're looking to learn, check out SkillDora, see what they've got to offer, see if someone is trying to grow or they're, there's
Yes.
there's a wealth of value and opportunity there. So thank you again so much, DeMario. It's been
Hey,
such
thank
a
you, Dominic.
pleasure.
It's been fun, man.
Great.